So, hello everyone. So, let us know if you are okay. I see that you're able to see us. Great. I'm so excited today. As you know, like today is the first day for the release of this vegan health bundle. And there are so many wonderful contributors. Like we not only have plant-based doctors, we have plant-based chefs, artists, fitness experts who are providing valuable resources to this bundle. And today, I'm so excited to have our special guest, Laurie Landry. And I was so much inspired by her story. I will let her share her inspiring journey, like how she was able to overcome autoimmune disease. So Laurie, like tell us about like even like how what inspired you to eat this way to go vegan and so I know like we want to hear all the juicy stuff. So welcome to Gift of Health Wellness Show, and I'm so excited that you're here, Laurie.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm excited as well, and I absolutely love these bundles. These vegan health bundles are amazing. And I read your book, and I don't know if you want to touch base at some point in here and kind of, tell your audience, I'm sure already knows, but what your book's about because it's fantastic. So a little bit about my story. It's not linear, so it's kind of, all over the place. It was not just like I made the decision and everything changed and, yay. But so I was diagnosed. I had a lot of problems since birth. I had malabsorption since birth. I was hospitalized for a while. Um, I just wasn't absorbing proper nutrients. I just had issues with everything. My feet hurt. I was complaining about a lot of things as I was getting older. And at around age 9, um, I had been complaining about all sorts of joint pain, and no doctors could figure it out. And so finally, we went to Shriners Hospital. I don't know if any of you know what that is, but it's an amazing hospital. And they have them kind of all over the US. And I went there and I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, which wasn't very common at all then. I was born in the 80s. It wasn't common for children to have arthritis. And so that's an autoimmune disease. And so I was put on like different protocols. There wasn't the advanced medication that they have now. In a way, I find that a blessing because there are side effects that come with taking, heavy medications and, um, biologics and heavy anti-inflammatories and things like that. So I was in a way grateful, but I could not find relief from pain. I would have good days for sure. I was able to play with friends once in a while. I was able to play some sports as I was getting older, but I always had inflammation and pain. I had to sit out at gym. I had to rest a lot more. And then as I got older, I was also diagnosed with Hashimoto's at a very young age. I don't remember the age of that. I want to say it was maybe 11 or 12, which was also rare for someone during that time so young. Hashimoto's is a thyroid disease, also autoimmune. And then as the time went on, I was diagnosed with all of these other chronic illnesses and autoimmune disease. I had Raynaud's, which is an autoimmune disease where your fingertips and your toes sometimes turn purple, blue, or white, and there's no circulation going to them. It can be very painful and very scary because it'll just be like the tip sometimes, and just it looks like it's going to get frostbite or something. I had chronic fatigue syndrome, so I was in bed a lot. Uh, Wasted a lot of my youth time, unfortunately. I broke a decent amount of bones for a child. I don't know if I had brittle bones or not, but you know, feels like I shouldn't have broken too many bones at that age. But um, gosh, I had eczema, psoriasis, I had restless leg syndrome. So sleeping was difficult. I experienced a lot of insomnia. Of course, all of this, the pain, the not being able to play with friends and everything, I would experience like a lot of depression, some anxiety about going out. Did I have, all of my medications? If I went to a sleepover party, is my stomach going to hurt from something I ate? You know, am I going to not be able to sleep at night? Am I going to feel anxious? Just all these different things. So I adapted pretty well. I think I they call it masking now. I think I did really well at masking and hiding a lot of things. I also was told I was a complainer a lot of times too. So physically, you couldn't see anything wrong with me except occasionally some joints would swell up and look a little weird. My toes got a little bit, kind of crooked and stuff. But so I had tried every doctor, every Western allopathic doctor in the book, every pain management doctor, and many of them were fantastic and they just wanted to help. But unfortunately, nothing was helping. I mean, I took a lot of medication over the years, and I don't remember ever not being on medication when I was younger and into a young adulthood. And so those also come with side effects, as you know. And I had my fair amount of surgeries as well. I had total jaw reconstructive surgery on both sides. The first surgery was one side, and then the second surgery was both sides because the arthritis had completely deteriorated my jaw joints. And so they had to build prosthetic jaw joints for me, which, receded my chin back into my neck, which made not enough space for my tongue, which caused sleep apnea. So I was also having trouble, getting air at night. So it was just stacked, stacked, and stacked. It was either side effects or it was just some other illness. And I'm sure you also know this, and maybe many of your viewers, once you have one autoimmune disease, you often will get more. I don't exactly know why that is, but it just seems to be the case. And I had a bunch. And I would go to doctors as a young kid and they would say, "Why are you on so many medications? Why do you have so many problems? And like, you look fine." And it was just like, I don't know. Why didn't you say this? And I mean, I was on more medications than like my elderly family. And so I had kind of decided I wanted to try some more holistic doctors as well as keeping up with my Western medicine doctors. And so I stayed on the medications, and then I tried some other doctors who, did all of the food testing and allergy testing. And they would say they found stuff, and I would go on specific diets, and it didn't make a difference. And it was really hard. And, I tried just all these different modalities, acupuncture, acupressure, massage therapy, like just, almost everything I tried. And, some things would feel kind of good for a little while, but it wouldn't really carry over, and it wasn't really fixing the problem. It was kind of just putting a Band-Aid on everything. And I had, over the years, I want to say I probably was my early 20s, someone had given me a book, and I still cannot remember the name of the book, but given me this book, and it kind of just went into, what's in our water, what's in our toothpaste, like what's in the products we use, and how it, is doing damage on our environment and our body. And that kind of opened my eyes into more like sort of researching, okay, like what are we actually like putting in our body, and what are we supposed to be putting in, and what's actually, for lack of a better word, a poison. And so I was reading more and more books. I was going to the natural health food stores and I was taking out books, and I would just read and read and read. And then when the internet kind of got booming, I would, try to search everything I could find on the internet. And I would ask my doctor so much, like, tell me everything, and I would go to some doctors and say, could it be the food? And oftentimes, I know my last rheumatologist said, no, it's not really the food. And I was like, well, I noticed, if I don't eat a lot of gluten or a lot of sugar, like I notice I feel a little bit better. And he would say, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't even remember. Like he was just kind of like, pushing it off. He was very nice. He wasn't like gaslighting me, but he was kind of just like, it's not the food. It's genetic. My great aunt has rheumatoid arthritis and some other autoimmune disorders. And he said, it's from your family. There's also some thyroid. Actually, I was the first one in my family to be diagnosed with thyroid problems. And now a bunch of my family members have thyroid issues. And so it's just like you've been handed a bad deal. Oh, you're muted. You're muted, Dr. Shoba.
That's why I was wondering, like, okay, I'm talking about, so I'm so
Oh
thanks
no.
yeah, thanks for letting me know. So no, so what I was saying, like, all this sounds so painful, right? And like you had to undergo so much. So so what actually helped you to overcome this? Because oh my God, like this, like There are so many issues. And as you said, when you went to your doctor and when you asked them, okay, maybe is that the food? But the answer you got, oh, I don't think it's the food. But like we don't make that connection. Like what we are eating can affect our bodies too, right? Yeah.
Right. So yeah, it was more studying, researching online, reading more books. I can't remember like a specific book or person or doctor who kind of opened my eyes to being plant-based vegan might be the answer, but it was just more and more I'm reading like how inflammatory dairy is, and I was super addicted to dairy. And when I was really young, I had 5 sets of ear tubes. I had chronic ear infections, and the
Mhm.
doctors then did say, take her off of dairy milk. Don't
Mhm.
or any don't no goat milk either, like no dairy, just take her off dairy, which was really hard. It's I think a
Mhm.
lot of people know it's really hard. That was the hardest thing for me
Yeah.
to give up in the end
Mhm.
too. So that plus the different sort of food allergy diets, I was like, there's something with the food. And so I kept researching more and more about the food. And I kind of, after more and more, I was like, I don't think meat is healthy and I don't think dairy is healthy, definitely not cheese. And the ice cream that I was always eating, I also didn't really eat the healthiest diet. And it was just like, I mean, everyone knows vegetables are good for you, right? And fruit is healthy.
Mhm.
And yet it's like hard to get it in for a lot of people.
Yes.
So I just really tried to keep cramming in more vegetables, even though I was still eating animal products.
Mhm.
We would make a dish and we would just be like, what other vegetables can we add? And so that was really starting to help. And I was noticing a difference. And then I would go in short spurts of doing like detoxes or, food cleanses, and I would feel good. It wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, I'm fixed, but it would feel good. And I know I was doing, a good thing for myself. So I definitely knew that it had something to do with the food. And if it didn't have anything to do with the food, at least I knew I wasn't going to be, you know, harming myself by adding more nutrients and minerals and vitamins and fiber. And so I just kept kind of trying to wean out the animal products and bring in more fruits and vegetables and whole grains. And, it was hard and I did it for years and I never really was able to stick to it. And then, finally I had been wanting to do it for so long, and I also am, like, very into, moral and ethically for the animals and for the environment. I was like, I don't want to eat these animals anymore. So meat wasn't hard for me to give up.
Mhm.
So I was just eating fish for a while, and then I was like, well, fish isn't that hard to give up. So I was kind of going back and forth on eating that once in a while. So we actually stopped buying any kind of animal meat at
Mhm.
home. We would get it if we ate out or went to friends' houses, but we just didn't buy it at home. So we were mainly eating vegetarian for a long time.
Mhm.
Um, and I was starting to feel a little bit better then, but it wasn't anything crazy. And then when the pandemic hit, I said to my partner, I said, do you want to try to go vegan with me? Like, we're not able to go outside. We're not able, to go anywhere, to go to restaurants. We're not socializing. This would be the best time. And he said, well, I'll try it. And we were both like, this is going to be hard. We're addicted to cheese. We're addicted to dairy. Um, but there was just it was a good opportunity, and so we tried it, and within probably 2 weeks I started to notice that I was feeling better, a lot more energy, because I was really like, we weren't eating like the junk food vegan food,
Mhm.
especially at that time. I mean, we dabble of course now, but we're eating whole food, plant-based,
Mhm.
and I was starting to feel better. I was getting a lot more energy. I was feeling like more excited about like doing things, even though the whole world was locked down. So that was depressing. But uh, and then about 3 weeks it took us to really get off that cheese kick. We
Mhm.
were really having trouble with dairy and cheese. And we had a couple slip ups, but for the most part, once we got over the hump of the addiction,
Mhm.
because dairy is so addicting.
Mhm.
Um, if anyone doesn't know that, it's actually addicting.
Mhm.
Um, Once we got over that hump, it got so much easier.
Mhm.
We had to deal with the trials and tribulations of like figuring out how to live in a world that isn't primarily vegan,
Yeah.
especially our friends and family. We didn't have anyone in our life that was
Mhm.
was vegan. We do have some supportive friends that are like, "Oh, can I get you?" And "Are you okay? Going out here? Can you eat something?" So that's really nice. But it can feel
Well,
very lonely. But it was. I started to feel so like my joint swelling went down. So much energy. I'm sleeping incredibly
mhm.
well. I never had bad skin, thankfully, but like I wasn't breaking out in eczema or psoriasis ever. I used to have like tons of like topical medications and nothing was really helpful.
So,
And
like
I was
as
like,
yeah, as you mentioned, like all the things, it's so difficult to eat healthy in this society, especially when we are surrounded with the environment where it's so easy to eat unhealthy. Just like you, like many people are facing similar conditions, and especially even when people experience this autoimmune condition, like especially as a doctor, when it comes to autoimmune conditions, I tell people just like your inner lining of the artery has the endothelium, which is the very life jacket of your blood vessels, the inner lining of our gut is also just coated with a single layer called epithelium. And that epithelium has tight junction. But when we are eating food, just like you mentioned, dairy or meat or cheese, which cause inflammation, and those tight junctions are separated, and the food goes out into your bloodstream, like where your body like doesn't recognizes as a foreign body and attacks your own body. The other thing what people don't realize is the your colon, the food for your colon. Guess what? It's not the sugar or it's the glucose that's coming from the food, but it is actually the breakdown product of the fiber, which we call as short chain fatty acid. So the colonocytes, they actually depend on that. So if they are not getting the food, then your colonocytes are dying, and all these autoimmune reactions are happening. Unfortunately, not many people tell their patients that's what is causing or how the food is causing that autoimmune reaction. But I'm so glad that like you were able to come out of this situation, like find your way to like eating more fruits and vegetable, find healthy eating option, and also try vegan. And the other thing that I'm excited about is that's what this bundle is providing, just like you. Like when you had to do this, you had to figure out so many things. You had to read so many resources. But the beauty of this bundle is all these resources are at one place where you can find, okay, if you don't know like how you can eat more vegetables and fruits, they can look at your resource or like other people's who have collaborated in this. And if they don't know how to make recipes out of vegetables and all this, so they can definitely go find all the resources. There are cooking videos, cooking classes, recipe books, and wonderful stories like you, where it would be like it is so inspirational to read, and how you can like come out of this, right? So, would you like to talk a little bit about your bundle contribution? And we will also paste the link in the chat so that people can buy from your link. So what is that you're offering, and why do you think people should buy this bundle?
yeah, so actually it's funny. So my book in the bundle is called Recipes for Better Intimacy. And it's kind of funny because your book kind of relates to my book in the sense, so your book, Five Ways to Lower Blood Pressure Without Medication, um, both having to do with the heart and cardiovascular, um, and overall health, of course, but those kind of the pinpoints, right? So my book for better intimacy. So I wanted to write it because I'm kind of getting to an age where some of my girlfriends are saying that they're, out dating, and some of the guys are having trouble performing, I guess you want to say, with some erectile dysfunction issues. And so I was looking into it more and listening to some other doctors. And it's interesting that a lot of people, even doctors, I think, don't realize the direct correlation with erectile dysfunction to heart health, meaning that it's all cardiovascular. So it's all like your arteries and your veins. If you're not getting the proper blood flow, the blood can't get to specific organs in the body, right? And so you're not going to get the same performance that you need. And so it was that, and then also talking to um, some women of my age that are, starting to go to, or at least think about going through perimenopause and having lower libido and having dry dry vaginal issues. And then also just more health issues are coming up as we age because now the body is like, I can no longer deal with this anymore. And so we're also dealing with maybe some other things like our back hurts. Like, so if you're gonna, you know, romp in the sheets, you might have some issues, with joint pain or your back's hurting or maybe you're having some body odor issues. So anyway, I wanted to sort of address these issues and how it's all like how our diet and our overall health is all related to our sexual function or intimacy. And I know you as a doctor would know a lot more about this, but I just find it interesting that, animal products directly influence on a negative level our heart health. And fiber, like you said, is the food for our gut. And our gut is kind of like the center of everything, literally, on our body. And, if we feed it the right things, plant plant foods are the only foods that have fiber. Animal foods don't. So you want to feed your gut what it can eat, right? It can't really do anything with the animal foods. And we're built to eat plant foods. And so I just thought this would be really interesting because we're all, looking to have a more intimate and, sexier sex life. And whether you're in a, steady long-term relationship or you're out dating. And so this kind of addresses all that and what types of foods to bring in. And then I also had some recipe ideas that are delicious. And even though they're vegan or plant-based, if you're not, these are like normal, like regular foods. They're not like weird, creepy, like vegan food.
Yes. Oh my God, those recipes are wonderful. That's what I love about your contribution. Like you not only have, addressed like how all these issues can, especially when it comes to intimacy and everything. So I love like how you have described all those issues and how we can overcome that. Plus, you have also provided recipes like for peak intimacy. So that's wonderful. So besides your contribution, were there any other contributions in the bundle that you liked?
Yeah, so typically I'm not like a huge recipe person. I know a lot of people are, especially those looking for the bundle, because there's hundreds of incredible recipes in there. I usually like the transformational stories and things like that, but I did see some of the recipe books that are in there that really caught my eye because, as I said earlier, I really was addicted to cheese and dairy, and there's two cheese books in the bundle that I'm really excited to try. So there's the Plant-Based Cheese Lovers Cookbook by Linda Tyler and Donna Spencer,
Uh-huh.
which I'm really excited to check out and try some of those
Mhm.
recipes. And then there's also, who was it? Oh, it was Nutmeg Notebook, who is Tammy Kramer, and then Shada
Yeah, yeah,
Soleimani.
yeah. So they
They have
they
a,
did
yeah,
cheese and crackers. Yes,
yes.
yeah.
Because I'm always also looking for, so if I get together and socialize with people, I'm always like, oh, what can I bring? I'll just bring a veggie platter. Like I'm not really that creative. And so having like, if I could just have like a little cheese and like cracker thing that I could bring. So if they're having cheese and crackers, they can also try it, and maybe they'll be like, oh, this is actually really good. And I have something to eat. So it's always good for not just thinking about home is easy. Home is easy for me. But when I go out in the world,
Mhm.
it
Yeah,
can be difficult.
that's the tough one. So we have put the link in the chat, guys. So to support Laurie, you can use this link to buy the bundle, and this one we will be also putting beneath the show notes. So make sure, like you share this with the people you love, and there, like as Laurie is saying, there are like wonderful recipe books, and obviously all this like the cheese. Like you can make different cheeses and everything. So, and this bundle has like wonderful contributions. So hopefully you guys can take advantage of it, and make sure it's only till March 10th. So just grab it before it goes.
Yes,
So
definitely.
yeah, thank you so much, Laurie, for your time. I know, like even before we are having so much time, but we didn't realize like
Oh gosh, yeah.
yeah, time is passing away. But definitely, I would love to have more conversation. We can definitely come again. So where we can learn more about you and all the wonderful things that you're doing.
I appreciate that. And I would love to definitely have another conversation. I'd love to have you on my channel too, because I have so many questions for you. But I feel really grateful to have connected with you. And this bundle is amazing. If I had this way back when, oh my gosh, I would have been able to do it in far less time.
Yes, you hit the nail on the spot. So yes, during our time, all these resources were not available. So this is so amazing. Those resources are available, and obviously, like for for those of you who are meeting me for the first time, like I'm Dr. Shobha Raipuri. I'm a board certified lifestyle medicine doctor, and I actually help people struggling with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart disease, diabetes, like common chronic conditions that we see nowadays, to break free from those disease, reduce dependency on medications, and have more energy. So thank you so much, Laurie, and definitely we'll get together again for an another amazing conversation.
Great. Thank you so much.
So thank you so much. Bye bye.